Hey everybody, Jimmy Kimmel here, or as they say in some parts of the world, Happy New Year! Which is a good thing to say pretty much everywhere, right? We're about to take a trip around the globe to see how folks in different countries ring in the new year, and let me tell you, some of these traditions are wilder than a Guillermo after-party at Pink's Hot Dogs. We're talking superstitions, rituals, food, the whole shebang. So buckle up, grab your noisemakers and try to keep your resolutions for at least 5 minutes. It's time to celebrate, and hey, if you're watching this after New Year's, don't worry. Every day is a chance to steal someone else's traditions. You're welcome. First stop, Spain, home of paella, flamenco dancing, and apparently a whole lot of grapes. See, in Spain, they don't just eat 12 grapes on New Year's Eve, they eat 12 grapes at midnight, one for each stroke of the clock. And if you think about it, that's a lot of chewing in a very short amount of time. I mean, I like grapes as much as the next guy, especially if they're covered in chocolate. But 12 at midnight, while everyone's counting down? Sounds like a recipe for indigestion if you ask me, but hey, who am I to argue with tradition, especially when it involves food? So, the goal here is to successfully swallow all 12 grapes before the clock stops chiming, and let me tell you, it's harder than it looks. It's like a culinary game show, except the only prize is good luck for the year ahead, and maybe a mild case of grape-induced hiccups. They say each grape represents a different month of the year, so if you choke on the third grape, does that mean March is going to be a bad month? These are the questions that keep me up at night, folks. That, and wondering if they have seedless grapes in Spain. And now, I'm not sure how effective this grape gobbling tradition is, but I gotta say, it's definitely more interesting than just kissing a stranger at midnight. Plus, it's a good way to use up all those grapes you forgot you had in the fridge, you know, the ones that are starting to look a little sad. So, if you're looking for a unique way to celebrate New Year's Eve, head to Spain, grab some grapes, and get ready to stuff your face. Just don't blame me if you end up with a stomachache. Next up, we're heading east to the land of the rising sun, Japan. This beautiful country is known for its rich culture, stunning landscapes, and unique traditions that have been passed down through generations. From the bustling streets of Tokyo to the serene temples of Kyoto, Japan offers a blend of modernity and tradition that is truly captivating. Today, we're going to explore one of Japan's most fascinating traditions that takes place during New Year's Eve. So, buckle up and get ready for an exciting journey into the heart of Japanese culture, where they celebrate New Year's Eve with a whole lot of noise. The streets come alive with vibrant celebrations, fireworks light up the sky, and people gather to welcome the new year with joy and enthusiasm. It's a time of reflection, renewal, and hope for the future. But amidst all the festivities, there's a unique tradition that stands out. And I'm not talking about karaoke, though that's always a possibility. Karaoke is indeed a beloved pastime in Japan, where friends and family come together to sing their hearts out. But the tradition we're focusing on today is something much more profound and spiritually significant. No, in Japan they ring in the new year by ringing bells. Big bells. These aren't just any bells, they are large bronze temple bells that resonate with a deep, soothing sound. The ringing of these bells is a symbolic act that carries deep meaning and significance. Temple bells, to be exact. These bells are found in temples across the country, and they play a central role in the New Year's Eve celebrations. The tradition of ringing these bells dates back centuries and is rooted in Buddhist beliefs and practices. And they don't just ring them once or twice. The ringing of the bells is a meticulous and deliberate process. Each ring is performed with care and precision, creating a rhythmic and meditative sound that fills the air. Oh no, that would be way too easy. The tradition requires dedication and patience. It's not just about making noise, it's about creating a spiritual experience that resonates with the participants and the community. They ring these bells 108 times. Yes, you heard that right, 108 times. This number is not arbitrary. It holds deep spiritual significance in Buddhism. You heard me right, 108. This tradition is known as Joya no Cane, and it is believed to cleanse the participants of the 108 earthly desires that cause human suffering, which begs the question, who's counting? Well, the monks and temple staff take on this important task. They ensure that each ring is counted accurately, maintaining the integrity of the tradition. And more importantly, why 108? According to Buddhist tradition, there are 108 earthly desires that humans need to overcome to achieve enlightenment. These desires are seen as obstacles to spiritual growth and inner peace. Well, according to Buddhist tradition, there are 108 earthly desires that humans need to overcome to achieve enlightenment. Each ring of the bell is meant to symbolize the purification of one of these desires, helping individuals to start the new year with a clean slate and a renewed sense of purpose. So each ring of the bell is supposed to cleanse you of one of those pesky desires. It's a beautiful and meaningful tradition that reflects the deep spiritual roots of Japanese culture. As the bells ring out into the night, they carry with them the hopes and aspirations of the people, ushering in a new year filled with promise and potential. Now, I don't know about you, but I have way more than 108 desires. I mean, there's pizza, and then there's deep dish pizza. And let's not forget about thin crust. So I'm not sure 108 rings are going to cut it for me. But hey, it's a start, right? The bell ringing ceremony is a pretty big deal in Japan. People gather at temples all across the country to listen to the bells and reflect on the past year. It's supposed to be a very peaceful and contemplative experience, which is probably a good thing because after hearing a bell ring 108 times, you're definitely going to need some peace and quiet. So, if you're looking for a more spiritual way to celebrate New Year's Eve, Japan might be the place for you. Just be prepared for a lot of bell ringing and maybe bring some earplugs, just in case, for those other desires that don't quite get cleansed. Hey, it's better than spending the night watching those cheesy New Year's Eve specials on TV, right? Alright, so we're moving on from Japan, a land rich in culture and tradition, where the New Year is celebrated with a unique blend of reverence and revelry. The Japanese have a fascinating way of ringing in the new year, and it's not just about the fireworks or the parties. It's about a deep-rooted tradition that involves a lot of noise, and I mean a lot of noise. Imagine a monster truck rally for your eardrums. That's right, the Japanese believe that making a lot of noise will drive away evil spirits and bring good luck for the coming year. It's a cacophony of sounds, from the ringing of bells to the clashing of cymbals, all aimed at ensuring a prosperous and happy new year. Now let's hop over to Denmark. And let me tell you, this tradition is right up my alley. The Danes have a unique way of celebrating New Year's Eve that involves a bit of friendly destruction. It's a tradition that combines fun, laughter, and a bit of chaos, all in the name of good fortune. In Denmark, they celebrate New Year's Eve with a little something I like to call Operation Shattered Dreams, or as the Danes call it, breaking plates. This isn't just any plate breaking, it's a full-on intentional plate-throwing extravaganza. The idea is to grab all your old chipped dishes, the ones that have been sitting in the back of your cupboard collecting dust, and hurl them at the doors of your friends and family. It's a way to say goodbye to the old and welcome the new with a bang, quite literally. Now, I'm not talking about accidentally dropping a plate after one too many glasses of champagne. No, this is a deliberate act of smashing plates, and it's done with a lot of enthusiasm and joy. We're talking full-on, intentional plate-throwing mayhem. Friends and family gather together, armed with stacks of old dishes, and take turns hurling them at each other's doors. It's a sight to behold, with plates shattering and laughter filling the air. The idea is to grab all your old chipped dishes, the ones your Aunt Betsy gave you, that you secretly hate, and hurl them at the doors of your friends and family. It's a way to let go of the past year's troubles and start fresh. The ones your Aunt Betsy gave you that you secretly hate, and hurl them at the doors of your friends and family. It's a cathartic experience, letting go of the old and making way for the new, and hurl them at the doors of your friends and family. The sound of plates shattering is believed to scare away bad spirits and bring good luck for the coming year. Don't worry, it's not as aggressive as it sounds. It's all in good fun and supposedly scares away bad spirits. The more broken plates you have at your door, the more friends you have, and the more good luck you'll receive. It's all in good fun, and supposedly scares away bad spirits. It's a tradition that brings people together, creating bonds and memories that last a lifetime. Personally, I think it's a great way to get rid of evidence after a bad holiday party, but hey, who am I to judge? It's a unique and fun way to celebrate, and it definitely leaves a lasting impression, but hey, who am I to judge? The important thing is that it's a tradition that brings joy and laughter to everyone involved. Just make sure you wear safety goggles, for that whole flying porcelain situation. Safety first, even in the midst of all the fun and chaos, for that whole flying porcelain situation. It's all part of the fun, but a little precaution goes a long way in ensuring everyone has a safe and enjoyable time. Now, you might be thinking, Jimmy, this sounds dangerous and also incredibly wasteful, and you wouldn't be wrong. But before you call the cops and the recycling center, let me explain. The Danes believe that the bigger the pile of broken dishes on your doorstep, the more good luck you'll have in the new year. So basically, it's like a weird, slightly dangerous competition to see who can get the most porcelain-based well wishes. I imagine it's also a great way to find out who your real friends are. The ones who don't flinch when you chuck a gravy boat at their front door? Those are keepers. The ones who call the cops? Well, maybe they just don't appreciate fine Scandinavian traditions. I'm kidding, of course. Don't throw things at your friends' doors unless they're into that sort of thing. I don't judge. Let's dive a bit deeper into this quirky tradition. In Denmark, it's customary to save up old, chipped, or unwanted dishes throughout the year. Instead of throwing them away, people store them for a grand smashing event on New Year's Eve. Imagine the anticipation building up as you collect more and more dishes, knowing that each one will contribute to your luck in the coming year. On the night of December 31st, friends and family gather together, each armed with their collection of breakables. The air is filled with excitement and a bit of nervous energy. After all, it's not every day you get to intentionally break things without getting in trouble. The smashing begins, and with each crash there's laughter, cheers, and a sense of camaraderie. It's a unique way to bond and celebrate the end of one year and the beginning of another. The tradition is believed to bring good fortune and ward off evil spirits. The more broken dishes you have on your doorstep, the more luck you'll receive. It's a visual representation of the love and well wishes from your friends and family. The bigger the pile, the more people care about you and your future, but it's not just about the luck. It's also about the fun and the memories created during the process. Imagine the stories you'll have to tell about that one time your friend accidentally hit the neighbor's cat with a flying saucer, or the time you discovered that your cousin has a surprisingly good aim when it comes to throwing plates. It's these moments of joy and laughter that make the tradition so special. It's a reminder that life is meant to be enjoyed, and sometimes that means breaking a few dishes along the way. So the next time you find yourself with a chipped plate or a cracked cup, don't throw it away. Save it for New Year's Eve and join in on the fun, and who knows, maybe you'll start your own tradition. After all, traditions have to start somewhere. Why not with you and your friends? Just remember to warn your neighbors and maybe invest in some protective gear. Safety first, even when you're smashing plates, for good luck. So the next time you hear a crash on New Year's Eve, don't be alarmed. It might just be your neighbors ensuring their good fortune for the year ahead. And if you see a pile of broken dishes on someone's doorstep, give them a nod of respect. They're just following a time-honored tradition that brings joy, laughter, and a bit of luck. So here's to a year filled with good luck, great friends, and maybe a few broken dishes along the way. Cheers to the Danish tradition of smashing plates and the joy it brings. And remember, it's all in good fun. Just make sure to clean up the mess afterward. Don't throw things at your friends' doors unless they're into that sort of thing. I don't judge. So go ahead and embrace the tradition. Gather your friends, save your old dishes, and get ready for a smashing good time. Happy New Year. Okay, so you've spent all night chucking plates at your loved ones' homes. You've scared away the bad spirits, bonded with your friends, and now you're surrounded by a mountain of broken china. What's next? Well, if you're in Denmark, the answer is simple. You clean it up. That's right, no magical plate disposing fairies here. Just you, your friends, and a whole lot of sweeping. But hey, look at it this way. It's a great opportunity to walk off all that champagne and holiday food. Plus, you can always use the leftover shards to make a festive mosaic, or a weapon. I'm kidding, mostly. So there you have it, folks. New Year's Eve in Denmark, where the spirits are low and the plate shards are high. All right, let's trade in those broken plates for some board shorts and bikinis, because we're heading down to Brazil, where they celebrate New Year's Eve with a little tradition called jumping 7 waves. Sounds refreshing, right? Now, I'm not talking about catching some gnarly waves on a surfboard, although if you're into that sort of thing, more power to you. This is more of a hop, skip and a jump kind of wave situation. The idea is to head down to the beach on New Year's Eve and, you guessed it, jump over 7 waves. But here's the catch. You have to make a wish with each jump. That's right, 7 waves, 7 wishes. Talk about maximizing your chances for a good year. Now you might be thinking, Jimmy, 7 wishes, that's a lot of pressure. What if I waste them on something stupid like wishing for a lifetime supply of mayonnaise? And to that, I say, first of all, a lifetime supply of mayonnaise. Really? Aim higher, people, but seriously, don't stress about the wishes. Think of it like this. It's 7 opportunities to put some good vibes out into the universe. You can wish for world peace, an end to hunger, or, for your favourite team to finally win the championship. I'm not here to judge. Just remember the ocean is listening, so make those wishes count. So, you've got your wishes ready, you've stretched those calf muscles, and you're ready to take on those 7 waves. But before you go running into the ocean like a bunch of sugar-crazed toddlers, here's a pro tip from your old pal Jimmy. Wear appropriate footwear. I'm talking flip-flops, sandals, water shoes, anything but those fancy dress shoes you wore to your New Year's Eve party. Trust me, there's nothing worse than starting the new year with a soggy sock and a mouthful of sand. And hey, while you're at it, maybe pack a towel. Just a thought, for the whole getting wet part of this tradition. Because let's be honest, nobody likes a soggy bottom. Okay, folks, we're leaving the sunny beaches of Brazil and heading north to Scotland, the land of kilts, bagpipes, and a New Year's Eve tradition that's all about who you let through your door first. Now, I know what you're thinking. Jimmy, are we talking about some kind of kilt-wearing, bagpipe-playing, haggis-delivering delivery service? Because sign me up. And while that would be amazing, that's not quite what we're talking about. In Scotland, they celebrate New Year's Eve with a tradition called first footing, where the first person to cross your threshold after midnight brings good luck or bad luck. It's a real gamble with this tradition. Now, you can't just grab any old schmuck off the street to be your first footer. There are rules, people, and trust me, the Scots don't mess around when it comes to their traditions. Ideally, your first footer should be a dark-haired, handsome stranger because, nothing says good luck like a mysterious hunk showing up at your door in the middle of the night. I'm not sure what's so unlucky about us blondes, but I don't make the rules. But wait, there's more. Your first footer shouldn't show up empty-handed. They need to bring symbolic gifts like coal for warmth, salt for prosperity, and a wee dram of whiskey for good cheer. Or, just a bottle will do. And whatever you do, make sure they don't bring a loaf of fruitcake. Nobody wants that. Seriously, just leave the fruitcake at home. Or better yet, throw it in the ocean on your way to jump those 7 waves in Brazil. So there you have it, folks. First footing in Scotland, where the fate of your new year rests on the shoulders of the first person who walks through your door. Choose wisely, my friends. Choose wisely. All right, we're moving on to the Philippines, where they celebrate New Year's Eve with a tradition that's a little less destructive than chucking your busted furniture out the window. Don't get any ideas, South Africans. I'm talking about round fruits, people. See, in the Philippines, they believe that round fruits symbolize prosperity and good fortune for the year ahead. I guess it's because round things remind them of coins, or maybe those little fortune cookie things. Who knows? Whatever the reason, you'll find Filipino households decked out with 12 different kinds of round fruits on New Year's Eve. And listen, if you run out of round fruits, don't panic. Just slice up some salami, all right? I'm pretty sure pepperoni counts as a round fruit in a pinch. Now, you might be thinking, Jimmy, 12 fruits, that's a lot of fruit. And you'd be right, it is a lot of fruit, but trust me, the Filipinos know how to handle their fruit. They're practically professionals. They've got mangoes, they've got melons, they've got those little mandarin oranges that are a pain to peel. It's a regular fruit salad fiesta over there. I hear they even break out the durian fruit, and that thing smells like a gym sock full of onions. But hey, who am I to judge? If durian brings you good fortune, then more power to you. Just promise me you won't send any my way, okay? I'm more of a bananas and peanut butter kind of guy.
Know you've been a good friend, and that's in the thick and thin. And I know it's
Now, I know what you're thinking. Jimmy, what happens to all that fruit after New Year's? They can't possibly eat it all. And you're right, they probably don't eat it all. They're not savages. But they do share it with friends and family, because that's what the holidays are all about, right? Sharing and caring and trying not to get food poisoning from your weird uncle's fruit salad. So if you're ever lucky enough to spend New Year's Eve in the Philippines, be prepared for a fruit overload. And don't forget to wear your stretchiest pants. Next up, we're heading over to Greece, where they celebrate New Year's Eve with a tradition that's a little less, shall we say, fruity. Instead of stocking up on mangoes and papayas, they're hanging onions on their doors. Onions! I know what you're thinking. Onions? That's weird even for the Greeks. And you know what? You're not wrong. But hey, who am I to judge? Maybe they just really love gyros. But there's actually a method to their onion madness. See, in Greek culture, onions symbolize rebirth and growth because of their ability to sprout, even in tough conditions. So hanging an onion on your door is basically like saying, hey, New Year, bring it on. I'm tough as an onion and I'm ready to grow. It's like a motivational poster, but with more pungent fumes. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm not sure I want my house smelling like a Greek diner on New Year's Eve. But hey, if it works for them, who am I to argue? Maybe I'll try hanging a bag of onions outside my dressing room this year. It might keep the paparazzi away, or at least mask the scent of my desperation. But here's the thing about the Greeks and their onions. They don't just hang them up and forget about them. Nope, they take those bad boys down on New Year's Day and use them in their vasilopita, which is like a Greek New Year's cake. That's right, they bake those onions right into the cake. I'm not sure what that says about their taste in desserts, but hey, at least they're resourceful. And who knows, maybe those onions add a certain je ne sais quoi to the cake. Or maybe they just make everyone cry and reflect on the past year. Either way, it's a tradition that's sure to make your eyes water. And finally, we're finishing our world tour of New Year's traditions in Italy, where they celebrate with a tradition that's a little more, shall we say, revealing. Forget about onions and fruits, folks. In Italy, it's all about the red underwear. That's right. On New Year's Eve, Italians from Rome to Sicily ditch their boring old tidy-whities and don their finest crimson skivvies. It's like a Valentine's Day sale exploded in their drawers. And no, I'm not talking about those granny panties your Aunt Carol wears to bingo night. We're talking lacy thongs, silk boxers, the whole shebang. It's enough to make even the Pope blush. Now, you might be thinking, Jimmy, why red underwear? What's so special about that? Well, my friend, according to Italian tradition, wearing red underwear on New Year's Eve is supposed to bring you love and good fortune in the coming year. I guess it's like a lucky rabbit's foot, but for your butt. And let's be honest, who couldn't use a little extra luck in the love department? I'm not sure how scientifically accurate this tradition is, but hey, I'm willing to give it a shot. Who knows, maybe this year I'll finally find that special someone who loves me for my mind and my lucky red underwear. But here's the catch, the red underwear has to be a gift. That's right, you can't just go out and buy yourself a six-pack of Lucky Hanes. It has to be a gift from someone else, which I guess makes it extra special. Or maybe it's just a way for the Italian underwear industry to boost sales. Either way, if you're ever in Italy for New Year's Eve, be prepared to see a lot of red, and not just from the wine. I'm thinking of starting my own New Year's tradition, giving out pairs of lucky red underwear to the entire studio audience. What could possibly go wrong? All right, we're moving on to Colombia, where they celebrate New Year's Eve with a tradition that's perfect for anyone with a serious case of wanderlust. Forget noisemakers and confetti in Colombia, you grab your suitcase. Yeah, you heard me right, an empty suitcase. Now, before you think they're all about returning unwanted Christmas gifts, it's actually a tradition called the Suitcase Walk. Picture this: the clock strikes midnight, fireworks are going off, and you're hustling down the street, wheeling an empty suitcase behind you. I know what you're thinking. Is this some kind of fire drill I wasn't aware of? Nope, it's all about attracting travel opportunities in the coming year. Hey, whatever works, right? I mean, I'd try anything to get out of going to my Aunt Janice's annual fruitcake party. So, the idea is that by carrying that empty suitcase around the block, you're basically sending a message to the universe saying, hey, I'm ready for adventure. Hit me with your best shot 2024. You know, like a travel agent for destiny or something. And hey, I got to admit, it's a pretty clever way to kick off the year. It's like setting an intention, but instead of lighting a candle and meditating, you're getting some fresh air and maybe a little exercise. Beats going for a run, that's for sure. Plus, it's a great excuse to buy a new suitcase. You know, got to have the right luggage for all those amazing trips you're going to take, right? I wonder if they make a suitcase shaped like a giant margarita glass, asking for a friend for a... But in all seriousness, this tradition is a beautiful example of how cultures around the world embrace symbolism and optimism as they ring in the new year. It's about setting positive intentions and believing that good things are on the horizon. And let's be honest, who couldn't use a little more travel in their lives? I mean, I once spent New Year's Eve in Cleveland, never again. So this year, maybe ditch the champagne toast and grab your suitcase instead. Who knows? Maybe you'll end up on a spontaneous trip to Paris or backpacking through the Amazon. Just promise you'll send me a postcard, all right? Hold on to your hats, folks, because we're about to get a little wild. We're heading down to South Africa, where some communities take the whole out with the old, in with the new thing to a whole new level. Forget about donating your old furniture or selling it online. In some parts of South Africa, they say goodbye to the old year by chucking it right out of the window. I'm talking couches, chairs, maybe even the occasional kitchen sink. It's like a demolition derby, but instead of cars, it's your living room set. Now, before you get any ideas about tossing your grandma's antique armoire out the window, it's important to note that this tradition isn't as widespread as it used to be. It's mostly observed in certain neighborhoods, and it's definitely not for the faint of heart. But hey, you got to admit there's something kind of satisfying about watching a beat-up old recliner take a nosedive into a pile of discarded junk, right? It's like a physical manifestation of letting go of the past and embracing the fresh start that a new year brings. Plus, it's a great way to finally get rid of that hideous lamp your Aunt Mildred gave you for your birthday. Just make sure you clear the street below first, you know, for safety's sake. Of course, while this tradition might seem a little, shall we say, unconventional, it's important to remember that it's all in good fun. It's about community, letting loose and welcoming the new year with a bang. Just maybe wear a helmet if you're planning on celebrating New Year's Eve in one of these neighborhoods. Safety first, folks. And hey, if you happen to catch a falling ottoman, you can always tell people it's vintage. Well, there you have it, folks, a whirlwind tour of some of the most unique and interesting New Year's Eve traditions from around the world. From grape gobbling in Spain to furniture flinging in South Africa, we've seen it all, no matter how you choose to ring in the new year, whether it's with a quiet night at home or a raucous celebration with friends and family. I hope you have a safe, happy and healthy start to the year ahead. And hey, if you're feeling adventurous, you can always try out one of these traditions for yourself. Just, maybe leave the furniture throwing to the professionals. Thanks for joining us on this global adventure. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe for more amazing content. Happy New Year!